Oh yeah, it's practice time. Hey guys, I'm Ben and welcome back to Adventures in Guitarland, where I teach you how to play guitar by playing a role-playing game. Today we're going to cover a practice regiment, just 15 minutes a day, especially for your beginners, to get you meeting your goals and advancing in your guitar playing. That said, before we do, go ahead and click that like, subscribe, and bell icon so you're notified whenever I come out with new content. Additionally, leave a comment down below on if you're practicing every day, what practicing techniques have worked for you, what hasn't worked for you. I want to know. Without any further ado, let's get into how to practice. Practice tip number 1. Turn your gain down. Practice on a clean channel. Even if you're playing rock, play it clean. So what I'm going to teach you, I call the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 method. And it can be applied to any practice routine that you want to do. And the way we're going to set that up is by doing 5 different exercises and warm-ups. The first one for 1 minute, the second one for 2 minutes, third one for 3 minutes. You see where I'm going with this? The fourth one for 4, and the last one for 5 minutes. It equals 15 minutes. Everybody has 15 minutes in a day, and especially for beginners and early intermediate players, this will make you much better. This does not include playing songs. This is just a sheer 100% practice time. But it's only 15 minutes, and then you can go learn songs and enjoy yourself. So let's get into those 15 minutes. Number 1, the first thing you need to do is warm up. Both of your hands really are cold. So aside from just kind of like stretching them out, getting the blood flow, here's what I want you to do. And this is something that a lot of guitar players have learned, and you'll see just about everybody teach it. And it's basically, you start down here and you'll see this. Well, we can do better than that. And here's how we're going to do it. So for 1 minute, you're going to start that up here on the 5th fret, because A, that's a lot of stretching. And B, we're not playing it down there because we want to be able to see what we're doing to give you the correct form and technique. So we're going to start up here on the 5th fret on your low E string or 6th string. And what you want to do is you do want to walk up 1 finger per fret. But there's some caveats to that. All right? So first of all, when 1 finger goes down, the one behind it should come up. You should never have 2 fingers down at the same time. Okay? So that's 1. 2, don't use a metronome. Not for this, not right now. We're talking about form. It's something that in the workout world you hear called FOSSI, form over speed and intensity. We're not looking for speed and intensity. We're looking for form or proper technique. That being said, each finger you want to place in that perfect spot right behind the fret. Make sure it's there. Then do it. Go to the next one. Don't forget to pick that one up. Play. Next. Play. Now, a couple other things to keep an eye out on during this minute of exercise. Make sure your fingers are curled, that you're not playing like this. They have that proper arch to them. Okay? 2, again, that you're pulling up the finger behind. And 3, that you're not putting your fingers, not letting them come way up here. You want to keep them nice and close to the fretboard while paying attention to where your fingers go and making sure you're pulling up the previous finger and not going too fast. And again, that you're maintaining proper arch and that the very tip of each finger, not the pad here, the tip, is going down just behind that fret. And then it's going in the perfect spot. If you can't do it this fast, that's fine, slow down. If you, look, literally when I practice this, still, I'm practicing at about this speed. Is that because I can't fly through this faster? No. It's because I'm working on making sure that my fingers, A, get warmed up, and B, that finger stays nice and far down. That pinky is everybody's bane. It's always going to want to pop up. Watch, they're all nice and low, but watch as I go through this. See my pinky raise both times? I'll keep it low. Raise a little bit there, raise a little bit more there, and I'm not intentionally doing that. I'm actively trying to keep it down. So that's why doing it slow and make sure you're getting that perfect placement and trying to keep everything low is important. Number 2, very similar to number 1. We're going to stick here. And don't move out of this position just yet, especially not if you're a beginner. If you're an intermediate person and you want to go through this, you know, all the way up, and then you want to move up, and then move up again, that's fine. Go ahead. But there's nothing wrong with sticking in this 5th position just to practice. This is just a warm-up, okay? The second one, which you're doing for 2 minutes, very similar to the first one. It's that same pattern. You're doing all the same things. Okay? And you're going to go up, you're going to come down, making sure your fingers are arched correctly, you're putting them in the perfect spot, that you're not bringing your fingers up too far, and that you're bringing up, only having one finger down at any particular time. But the other thing you want to do with this, and this is why I call this one lightest touch, is each time you want to play with the lightest amount of force that you can use to make that note ring out. There it is. There it is. Oh, I already have it on that one. And what this is, this will give you a feel for just how little you actually have to push down in order to make the notes ring out, okay? This also helps warm up your hands just like the previous one and get your left hand, right hand syncopation down better. So that's number 2. On to numero 3. All right, so the third one is sight reading. But it's not the sight reading that you're thinking of, so don't click off the video just yet. So what I mean by sight reading is, especially for a beginner, I mean, if you are learning music and you're learning, you know, where this E, F, G, A are, perfect, and you're practicing that, great. Now what I'm talking about here, this is for beginners. I want you to sight read chord names. I want when you look up on a piece of music and you see G with a little or G on there, that you know that that's a G and that you can play that G. Or it says A with an M next to it. Well, you know that's A minor, and you're going to go right to it. Or D minor, whatever the case may be. And since we're also talking about teaching guitar by playing a role-playing game, let's look at how we can incorporate some role-play elements into this. This is how I want to do it. With dice. So I highly recommend, if you're a beginner, and if you do have dice, this is a great way to practice because it keeps things random. Take something like your standard D4. Decide, hey, an E is going to be 1, G is 2, C is 3, D is 4. And then roll it. Do this before your practice. This doesn't count as part of your practice time. And I came up until I got every single chord at least once. That E took a while to pop in. You see there was a lot of D's and C's in there. But eventually I got to that E and I got every chord. So what I would do is when I would practice those, note that I did not put a shape on there. I didn't put a chord diagram, just the chord name. And these are all major because they don't have a minor next to them. So I would say, okay, so I have a G, D, D, C, D, C, E, according to here, which I can see right there. So this is where you start breaking out your metronome on this exercise. Let's say I was doing it at, 100 and, or I would say 80 beats per minute. So right around there, right? A little bit faster than 1 per second. And I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to play a chord every other beat. There we go. That's it. That's all the chords. If you can do that really quick and easy, go through it again. Keep going through it. If it's way too easy like that is for me, mix it up. Add more chords in there. add harder chords in there as we start learning them. Like for me, if I'm going to actually do this week, I'm going to throw a bunch of jazz chords on there. I'm not going to start with a D4. I'm actually going to start with, come here, my D20. Because I'm going to throw some of the chords that I already know in there so I can start differentiating the chords names, even with the ones that I already know. And just build that up. You can do that, no problem. So, you do that for 3 minutes. Number 4, scales. So this one is where you actually practice your scales repeatedly. So if you watch the other videos, there's one down here on the open position. And then there's one up here in the root position. And you practice those. While you're practicing, it's a good idea to go C, D, E, F, G. So practice your scales. 4 minutes. Number 5, chords. You're learning. You're a beginner. You should be learning your chords. And the chords are going to be the backbone of everything you play on guitar. Yes, you can play a scale and they're great. They're wonderful for solos and things of that nature, but chords is the background of songwriting. And that's what a guitar is done. That's what a guitar does. It writes songs. It's there for you to express yourself in a musical manner. So learn the chords. If you're really having trouble with that G chord, time to start playing it and really making sure that you're getting that fingering down, that is correct, that you're not doing a straight fingered stretch, that you're getting a good arch on your fingers. If you have to use your pinky for right now, that's fine, but go ahead and put that ring finger down next to it and make that more modern style of a G, right? Then maybe switch to C, then to D, then to E major, then to A minor, or A major apparently, where my fingers want to go. You need to practice your chords. Along with that, also practice that F bar chord, that B bar chord, both of them. Same with the F, you want to practice that minor too, and then you can practice moving those around. So, 5 minutes, practice your chords. Really start with the ones that you have issues with. Again, this would be a great time to bust out some dice and do a pattern for yourself. So there you go, guys. There is a 5-section practice routine for you to do. Only 15 minutes a day. Remember, on those first 2 exercises, it's about form. It's about the correct technique. It's not about speed, so don't worry about a metronome. It's not even about timing at that point. It's just getting your fingers and your hand to work correctly. On the last 3, use a metronome because it's also incorporating timing. It's your right hand. So if you're playing quarter notes, same with if you're just practicing chords. Also, don't forget to make it random. You'll enjoy it. Yeah, and if you're an intermediate player, or, oh man, this is too short for me, I need to do this longer, that's fine. Try doubling the time on everything. Then it's a 30-minute exercise. We'll start adding more techniques and different things to practice later on. This is just the beginner. So it's your first practice routine. Every day, 15 minutes. You will get better. Promise. So, until next time, enjoy your adventure, and I'll see you in Guitarland.